Hi, my name is Rob Blair, and I am on the staff of the Minnesota Master Naturalist program. I work at the University of Minnesota, where I'm faculty in Fisheries, Wildlife, and Conservation Biology. Usually, I study birds, especially how urbanization affects them, but I'm also a fan of studying Minnesota and where I live. I moved here almost 20 years ago, and I am still puzzled by a few things, such as when somebody asks me to borrow them a pencil, and I'm not expected to go and ask somebody else for a pencil for that person to have. I'm also confused by the sign near the old Saints Stadium that says, "Please walk on Boulevard, not on street." Finally, I have to admit, when somebody says, "You bet," I still think it means they agree with me. It's not just that they say that as in, "I heard what you said." I recently moved to Roseville, and I want to show you a couple of my favorite things about Roseville. And Roseville, for those of you who don't know, is right across the street from the University of Minnesota St. Paul campus, which is actually the University of Minnesota Falcon Heights campus. Some people don't realize it's not in St. Paul. All right, see you in a second. I mentioned that I moved to Minnesota about 20 years ago, and I'm always fascinated by the quirks of the state. One of my favorites is everybody's opinion about the movie Fargo. Everybody says, "Oh, that's not funny. We do not talk like that." And I want to let you know, it's hysterical and you do talk that way. Sorry, just live up to it and own it, I guess. Recently, I moved from St. Paul, which is what's behind me, believe it or not. Yes, that's the use agricultural fields, to Roseville. And it's amazing what a mile difference can make. I went from the city to the country, where we don't have sidewalks, where we get mail in mailboxes, and everybody says hello. There also are a few other quirky things about Roseville, and I'm going to show you those in a minute. Roseville has almost as many quirks as Minnesota does in general. First of all, there is the great Macy's department store, which everybody insists on calling Dayton's. Right across the street is the Brown Company, and if you can see their billboard, it says "Drive safely, we can wait." That's because they make both septic tanks and the vaults that you use in graveyards. And finally, right across the street, I have to move a little bit so that you can see this as well, is the Roseville Memorial Chapel and Cremation Service, which helpfully has a luncheon room that you can use after you're cremated. Only in Roseville. Another amazing thing about Roseville is that we have a super target. Not only is it a super target, it is the very first target ever. It's actually known as Target 001. I was going to end my fabulous tour of Roseville with a visit to the Dairy Queen that I thought was the first one ever. I just checked the Dairy Queen website, and it's not true. The first one was in Joliet, Illinois. But anyway, I decided to have a blizzard anyways. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. So that was my brief but spectacular tour of Minnesota, University of Minnesota, and Roseville. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.